Hey guys, Lawrence here from Tabletop Tactics, wanting to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from myself, Grotty, and the entire team here at Tabletop Tactics. It's been an amazing year, and I thought, what better way to cap off Christmas than with the second Tabletop Tactics narrative campaign. So for those of you which aren't familiar with the Tabletop Tactics narrative campaign, we've only done one before. I produced the Gaius War, and that was a year ago. And actually, as soon as I finished filming that, I have been preparing this that you're about to watch, Ghostmaker, behind the scenes for an entire year. So a year in the making. So for those of you which aren't familiar with it, perhaps you didn't see the Gaius War or you're a new subscriber here, the narrative campaigns obviously are driven very much by a narrative direction. All of the missions and the armies are designed to be very balanced and to ultimately promote the story and bring us to a dramatic conclusion of the campaign. And the Gaius War ended in an amazing way. I mean, you know, it because the game is the game, and you know, we still are rolling the dice, so crazy things can happen, characters can die, heroes can be made where you least expected them, and it does produce some pretty epic storytelling, and it's easily my favorite thing to produce for you guys. So I'm very excited to let you guys see Mission 1, A Rising Storm, coming up shortly. But before that, just to let you guys know, Mission 1's right here on Freeview, of course. Mission 2 will be over on demand, and then Mission 3 back here, and we'll alternate the releases until we reach the dramatic conclusion of Ghostmaker. Now, if you're not an on-demand subscriber, you can head on over to the website and sign up there. You've got a 2-week free trial if you want to check it out. And even if you don't want to, we'll still be recapping all of the missions right here on Freeview as well. So you'll have an idea of what happened in the previous episode. But finally, each mission is its own standalone game. So even if you're just into the game itself, you're going to get some pretty epic games here in this series. So guys, that's enough of me talking. You have waited long enough. It's time to lower the lights, raise the volume, put this on as big a screen as you can find. This is Ghostmaker.
System found, my lord. The great rift beckons.
Take to the tides. Engage warp drive.
We can plan. Entering Maledictum. The Anubis sees all. Cicatrix Maledictum night. As the news have foretold. The dark structures on the planet's surface. The veil is active. We are but a shadow in the stars. Imperial vessel in orbit. We await your command, my lord.
Enter orbit. Maintain trajectory around the dark side of the planet. Locate drop site and prepare the rubricae. I will make planetfall personally.
We can plan.
All is dust.
The storm approaches. Am I to understand the Vox distortion still hasn't improved?
It's nothing we can't handle.
Have we lost contact with the other sides?
Affirmative. Contact was lost around 1600 when the storm front moved this way.
And what of this talk of voices in the distortion?
I didn't feel it was appropriate to bring the idle talk of my troops to your attention, Lord Inquisitor.
It was my understanding in Tempestor that the Indonium Genome were a highly trained and disciplined regiment.
We are the best.
Good. See to it the site is secure. I do not want any delays to this excavation. Is that understood, Tempestor?
Yes, Lord Inquisitor.
Welcome to planet CM9. Site 4 on planet CM9 revealed, the whole cluster of planets revealed quite suddenly after the Cicatrix Maledictum ripped itself across the galaxy. This small cluster of planets suddenly appearing very near the Eye of Terror, where before nothing was registered on any sort of navigational system. All of a sudden this system of planets became present. Who knows where they were before, if this is a trick of the warp or if it was something that was deliberately hidden, none can say. But what can be said is that the Inquisition became very interested in this cluster of planets, and specifically the Ordo Xenos under the command of Sevatar Malachi have claimed this system as their own. It is off limits to all within the Imperium, bar the Endonian Genome, which have been tasked with the defence of the Inquisitorial retinue and with the escort of the Inquisitor throughout this planetary system. Here, on the 9th planet in the CM system, ruins were found, as we can see here. Ancient ruins of unknown origin, and they're being dug up here on Site 4, the 4th site, where currently Sevatar is present himself. There have been no conflicts on any of the planets, in fact no signs of life whatsoever. The Endonian Genome, the 13th Regiment, known as the Reapers, Slade's Reapers to be specific, have not seen any action. They have stood so far a relatively easy reconnaissance and guard duty of the Inquisitor. However, today was the first in an event that marks the Ghostmaker campaign. A new enemy becomes present here on this planet, and in mere minutes the war will begin. Now, up until this point, the Endonian genome, the Reapers, and the Inquisition have not come across anything on any of the planets, including CM9, and whilst their digs have been going quite successfully, here on Site 4 has been no different from anywhere else. No signs of the enemy or anything else has been seen. However, unusually, a rather large storm is heading their way. They have been advised to belt everything down, make sure everything is secure, and brace themselves for the impact of the eye of the storm itself, as it should be passing over them in mere minutes. Flickering lights in the horizon, strange colours, and some of the Endonian troopers have even claimed that they've heard whispers in the wind. Slade doesn't abide any of that nonsense in his regiment. He only keeps disciplined men. But nonetheless, the rumours are rampant throughout Site 4 here. Something is in the storm and it is coming for them. So what is the mission? Well, here all they need to do is protect the ruins. That's all they need to do. The very centre of the board there is a 6-inch bubble representing the central point of these 4 ruins here. Any units that hold that ruin at the end of the game will win the game. It's as simple as that. It's not worth victory points. It's he who holds the centre of the board at the end of the game, either via the objective secured rule or who has the majority of models, will win the game. The enemy will have the first turn. The Imperial forces cannot seize the initiative. They're not allowed to do so. So the full mission rules for this, full mission rules are available on the Tabletop Tactics website. So you'll be able to download the data slate there if you're interested in playing this campaign along with us at home. So with no further ado, we know what the mission is, we know what's been happening. It's time for the storm to pass over. That's coming up next. Here it is, the eye of the storm has finally passed over Site 4. The players are present. We have the B-Bone representing the Inquisition, the forces of the Endonian genome. We have the Chaos Lord himself representing this new enemy. Although we don't know anything about them yet, I'm sure that will be revealed. So the movement phase has happened here, and in this mission, as again I will repeat, you can download it for free from www.tabletoptactics.tv. And in this mission parameter, the forces of the Thousand Suns, yes, it is the Sons of Magnus that have arrived on this planet. For whatever their motives are, we do not know, but they are here. And as the mission states, the forces of Chaos can come in from any board edge in their first turn. They have to move on. There are some restrictions to the units that you're allowed to take, as are there restrictions for the Imperial forces, to ensure that the narrative of what happened here on Site 4 is adhered to and it doesn't get too gamey. We want the mission to go as it was fought accurately in the history of Warhammer 40,000. So, what we have here are 2 Hellbrutes on this side. Ancient Hellbrutes from the Thousand Suns homeworld, perhaps from Prospero itself. Here we have 3 units of Rubricae Marines. We have a unit of Cataphracti Scarab Occult Terminators, which have arrived via Teleportarium, and in fact when they arrived it became apparent that this flickering purple and multicoloured storm clouds that they've been seeing seems to be actual acts of teleportation happening. So perhaps a very large force of Thousand Suns is now present on this planet, and this is merely the vanguard. Who can say? But right now the Endonian genome are readying their weapons for the oncoming storm. Will it be good enough? We'll have to find out. Now there are 2 sorcerers present on the battlefield also. One on a disc, appearing to be the Warlord himself, and one over here on foot, perhaps second in command. Let's see what happens, folks. It is, of course, the psychic phase coming up next. We're in the psychic phase. Now, as we said at the beginning of this video, dice rolls are not generally shown in the narrative campaigns. We do them, of course. We do them, but we don't generally show you them because we want this to be about the story. However, for key rolls, we will show you them. We will show you them because I think it's interesting. Key elements where characters can potentially die, things like that. It's always important. We did that in the Gaius War. We'll do that here again for your viewing pleasure. So since this is the first power cast by this character, it should also be mentioned that he has a special relic called the Eye of Karnak. And that gives him a +1 to casting and denial tests. Okay, that's a character special relic for this character in this campaign. I won't tell you anything more about him quite yet, but he's going to cast Warp Time on the Terminators because it's a significant power that goes off. Let's do it. So
normally a 7.
Normally a 7. That's the Eye of Karnak. So he's rolled a 6. That is exactly what he needs because of the +1. However, Sevatar Malachi is within denial range. Will he get his first denial off this powerful new psychic threat that 1,000 Suns possess? No, he will not. Unless he uses his first command points.
Yes.
Okay, he does choose to use a command point here.
Yeah.
The will of Malachi is potent. 6 does not beat it though, so
Shame.
therefore the 1,000 Sun sorcery does prove more powerful. The psychic storm has begun. Ended temporarily here until, of course, we get to the 1,000 Suns turn 2, but currently multicoloured rays of light have erupted across the battlefields and claimed the lives of several of the genome already. One slain here from this squad via smite from him. Or it was actually from the second in command here, wasn't it?
Yes.
They failed to cast their smite. One over here from the aspiring sorcerer on this squad. One over here from the aspiring sorcerer in this squad. And then we had Infernal Gaze cast over here on the knight. Failed to kill him though, didn't it?
Yeah, resilient.
Failed to do any wounds. However, it was the Terminators and their aspiring sorcerer that did successfully cast smite and has now damaged the ferryman himself. Strangely, however, the warlord here on the battlefield, despite a command reroll, so first command point has been spent for the 1,000 Suns, failed to cast smite, although he did successfully stop a perils on himself. The opening roll from Chaos Lord Beard was a double 1.
All right.
So that is how the psychic phase has laid itself out here on Site 4. It will be the shooting phase coming up next. We will come back to you at the end of it. The shooting phase is over here on Site 4. Laser cannon fire opening up from all 3 Hellbrutes, punching their way through 2 of the ion shield saves of the ferryman himself, punching a whopping 11 wounds from him, but he still stands there with 13. The number of the regiment itself, and as the last las cannon fire went through, wounded him on a 6. Bone rolled a 6 to save with his ion shield. So he still stands. Is he degraded now?
No, he's on 13, which is the degrade.
Which, as we say, is lucky for some.
Yeah.
As the Endonian genome would say. So there we go.
The ferryman stands.
The ferryman stands. Meanwhile, bolt of fire. These Inferno bolts, mixed bag really, has claimed several casualties from this squad, but this unit, all of their fire just completely pinged off of the barricades here on the industrial site.
No warp flame. No warp flamers in range. This range.
That's right. So they couldn't do any of their warp flamers there because they've got 1 warp flamer in each 1,000 Suns Rubrique units. And then over here, the heavy warp flamer did claim 1 of them, but the missile rack failed to penetrate the armor of the ferryman. Meanwhile, the bolters, the storm bolters, did claim a couple more casualties up on the gantries there. So overall, shooting wise, he's claimed certainly several soldiers that will never return home to Endonia. He's damaged the knights, but the Endonian genome are very much ready to retaliate. As the Prime Barrett would say, they're not paid by the hour. It's time to lock and load. So
Barrett is such a bad man! You guys wait! He's a bad man!
But before that order is given, the Rubricae have one more phase left. We have the charge phase, and then potentially we have the assault phase. Will you be declaring a charge?
Yes.
Who are you declaring a charge on?
I'm going to charge this unit here.
Okay, it'll be Overwatch, but we'll get back to you at the end of that. Well, the Overwatch just happened, and actually a wound was taken from one of the Scarab Occult Terminators. Hotshot lasgun fire ripping through one of the Cataphracti armor plates. Dangerous stuff, although the melters did miss home. Let's just roll now. We will do this for you, for your viewing pleasure. See if they make the charge.
Needing a 6.
Because the warp time ability, guy does it.
Just.
Warp time, thank goodness. The Warlord casting warp time. We'd successfully get them that little bit closer. And we'll actually do the assault phase for you guys on camera next, just to see what these Scarab Occult Terminators can do to the acolytes of Sevatar Malachi. Here we are. The Scarab Occult Terminators are now in. Didn't really have too much space to go with their 3-inch pile-in, but they are all within attack range of at least one model, so that is perfectly okay. And he didn't want to spread around here because he wants to stay just over an inch away, of course, from the ferryman, because otherwise he could be sending them to an early grave, as he is wanting to do. So the Scarab Occult Terminators here. We will do these attacks for your viewing pleasure.
Right, I'm going to start off with the Sorcerer, because he's got a different weapon, so he has a 4 stave.
Yeah.
So, hitting on 3s, first of all.
Both hits.
2 hits, this is strength 6, so I'm moving on 2s, I believe it's
Yes,
3.
because the acolytes are toughness 3. That's 2 wounds, and the minus on the stave, sir.
The minus on the stave is just -1.
Right, so they will get 6 up saves. The acolytes not quite as well armoured.
5 up, I'm 4 normal, it's only -1.
The acolytes unfortunately only have a 5 up armour save though.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're not quite as well armoured as the Tempestus.
Okay, very good.
Genome.
Well, that's alright, double 6.
No,
Okay.
2 are slain.
That's fine. Whatever.
Bold there from the Inquisitor Sevatar. Let's see.
Okay,
Now
and these are all power swords on the rest of the Terminators. Hitting on 3s.
The Kopesh style power swords, lots of hits. Wounding on 3s, in fact killing on 3s due to the -3. Yep, that's another 5 slain there. 5 acolytes slain around Sevatar as these Scarab Occult Terminators go to work. However, before we move on to the attacks from the acolytes, which we'll do off of camera, they will get some return attacks. The Sorcerer himself, the Aspiring Sorcerer, did get a 6 to hit. Death to the False Emperor gives him an additional attack on 6s to hit.
Okay, so
Could
3s to
potentially
hit.
bring another down to another 6. Very nice, but it doesn't explode again. Okay, rolling to wounds. 2s. It's a 6 again. Scarab Occult Terminators here making a mark early in this campaign. He will get a 6 up save against it though, Mr. Bone. No, he does claim another head. And the squad butchered here. Only 2 melter guns left alive. That marks the end of turn 1 for the Thousand Suns. Morale held in terms of the genome, but the acolytes fled the battlefield. The last 2 melter guns, despite the will of the Inquisitor Malachi himself, giving them his leadership of 9, they fled against the wrath of the Scarab Occult Terminators. It is understandable. However, both of these genome units passed, rolling 1s in fact, flying colours. The will of the 13th Regiment of the Endonian Genome, the Reapers, is of course solid. That does bring it to their turn. So forces of the Imperium, will they help secure or defend Site 4 against this Thousand Suns menace that's just arrived here with this storm waging around them? Let's see if they can. It's turn 1 for the Imperium coming up next. Movement phase for the forces of the Imperium, the Endonian genome, their House Knight, and the remaining Inquisitor on the battlefield. Some brave manoeuvres here from the forces of the Imperium. Cicatrix Maledictum himself has moved towards the Scarab Occult Terminators.
Oh, beast.
He has no fear in the face of foul chaos, heretic Astartes, or Xenos it seems. He's gone straight down the throat of the enemy there. And following him, Commander-in-Chief, the Tempestor Prime, Slade himself, has leapt down from the gantries here, ordering his genome, this unit advancing with their assault melters over here to try and bring range against this Hellbrute. This unit, did they advance as well, Bone?
They did the same, yeah.
They advanced as well, so there's more melters to bear around here. The plasma unit have just remained static. Looks like they're getting ready to lock and load and rapid fire. This unit up here on this top gantry here has also remained pretty much static. But the two commanders-in-chief of this Imperial force, Malachi and Slade, are going towards the Scarab Occult Terminators. Gripping stuff here. The ferryman, the knight, has also moved around here. We can see that he is ominously looking down at the Terminators, but his guns are ready to be brought to bear against a multitude of these Thousand Suns as they march silently across the battlefield towards Site 4. There will be a psychic phase. Cicatrix is a witch himself. He can manipulate the warp. Let's see what he does. We thought we'd show you this psychic phase here. Cicatrix opens up with Smite of his own, ripping open the warp, unleashing it on the Scarab Occult Terminators. Can he cast it? He can cast it on a double 6, but he will also perils.
Yes. It's worth it.
Yeah, okay. Bone keeps it as he unleashes the raw warp against these Scarab Occult Terminators. Now, you actually can deny it if you also roll a double 6. Because of the Eye of Karnak gives him a +1 to deny. Mysterious relic. Oh, a valiant effort, but no, he does not deny the raw power of Cicatrix Maledictum. So, what is the damage that you do? It is D6 mortal wounds on the Scarab Occult Terminators. He only does the one.
I will use a command point.
He uses a command point on that one. Okay.
Just like to keep you all guessing, because now it's a 6.
It is a 6. Oh no. So not only does one of the Scarab Occult Terminators die because he was only on 1 wound before, but a further 2 drop in addition, and one is left on 1 wound. Would you believe it? Brutal stuff here. However, Malachi too will take the damage of the warp, for it is fickle. It is very fickle. I believe it's D3 mortal wounds. If you'd like to roll that, and then we'll check after. He takes the full 3. Ooh. Incredible stuff here. The characters in this campaign are already showing how powerful they can be. Cicatrix himself, unfortunately an Imperial veteran, rather coloured past, but we'll find out some more about that later. Now, he does have Tenacious Survivor as a Warlord trait. We thought we would show you this. It's 6s, and he can ignore the 3 mortal wounds that he's taken. No, he does take the full power of the warp. He did unleash it in spectacular form.
Totally worth it.
Against these Scarab Occult Terminators. Slade himself would have witnessed this raw power the Inquisitors unleashed. It must have been quite a sight. Let's see what happens next. It is the shooting phase. Mid-shooting phase here for the forces of the Imperium. Orders have been issued across the battle line from Hector Slade, the Tempestor Prime, and Jonas himself over here, Jonas Barrett, has also been issuing orders. He issued take aim to the plasma guns, and they did overcharge, and with some successful hitting and wounding, actually stripped 4 wounds from the Hellbrutes here. He's been absolutely battered with plasma fire from up here on the gantry. However, the Militarum Tempestus unique order and Endonian genome favourites elimination protocols sanctions. The 4 melters after advancing have been issued that order, and they are now just about to fire at this Hellbrute. We thought you might want to see this.
So it's 4s now.
4 melter guns. 4's to hit because he did move, so 2 have gone.
2 have gone.
Because he advanced, so it was a -1. Okay.
Okay.
Now strength is still 8, and it is 3's to wounds.
Cool.
Both go through, and it's -4. He's got no save from there, no save whatsoever.
Cool.
So this is 2d6. Now you would have been able to re-roll those wounds, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
With it being,
But
he rolled them anyway. Okay, fair enough. So to damage, 2d. Oh, it's 10. It's 10 wounds. The first Hellbrute is indeed destroyed. Does it blow up though, Mr. Beard, on the roll of a 6?
Oh.
No, it doesn't. Rolled a 5 there, but the Hellbrute is nonetheless destroyed. The Cataphracti Terminators, the Scarab Occult Terminators, now standing in ruin. Their armour still, I would imagine, standing there, but still, as they burn with plasma fire. Overcharged here, but again, he had the take aim order in effect. And with the reroll 1s, despite rolling 2 1s, he could have killed a couple of the plasma gunners there. Did reroll successfully, and all of the Scarab Occult Terminators have been destroyed. Beard did use a command point to try and save 1 on his 4-up invulnerable save, but then failed on the reroll as well. So the unit's wiped out. There is only 1 unit left to fire. It is the ferryman himself, the knight. How are you allocating this fire, Mr. Bone?
Right, so I'm going to put the missile pod and the melter into these guys.
Okay.
And then the battle cannon over here.
Okay, so missile pod and melter is going on the Hellbrute here.
So,
1 Hellbrute destroyed already, as
missile
you've
pod
seen.
is D3, 2 hit, 2 shots.
2 shots.
3s.
1 hit.
1 hit.
Can he wound? No, he does. No, he does wound. It's strength 8.
Yeah. So
Toughness
Sorry,
is
the
7.
Storm Spear is heavy 3, it's not D3.
oh, it's heavy 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So you did 2 shots there. So
2
you
shots.
need
So
another
just
shot.
1 more. Okay. So it's another hit.
It's another hit. Can he get the wound? He can. So it's 2 wounds that have gone through now.
Cool.
And the Storm Spear Rocket Pod minus.
Storm Spear is -2.
It's -2. So you will get 5-up armor saves here. Hellbrutes. No, doesn't make any. It's d6 damage. 2d6. Those 2 have gone through. 5, 6, 7, 8. That's exactly how many wounds it has. The Storm Spear Rocket Pod destroys the Hellbrutes in a display of firepower there from the ferryman. Does he blow up on the roll of a 6? Could potentially take some more wounds. He does blow up. He does. I believe it's D3 mortal wounds, but let's check that. So it's D3 mortal wounds, and the ferryman, the knight, is just within 3 inches. So D3 mortal on him, just the 1. So that does now put him to 12 wounds. 12 wounds remaining. Despite the damage sustained here, it's 2d3 shots from the rapid fire battle cannon now onto this unit, although you are degraded now.
Yeah, so it's hitting on 4s.
So
now.
hitting on 4s.
So I get 7 shots.
7 shots here.
2, 7, perfect.
From the Rubric. So
Okay,
he's
so-
hit. Well, he rolled 1s and 2s anyway.
Yeah.
So this would have been this.
Yeah,
It's 1
so
hit
3
there.
hits.
Mr.
Oh,
Bone.
no, that was. That
Oh,
was
it's something
not
else.
part of it,
Okay.
yeah.
So
So strength 8. So
okay,
2.
2's to wound.
Ooh,
2 1s and a 6.
Ouch.
Okay, just the 1 wound. Now Rubikai have a 5-up invulnerable save, and they can re-roll. Make the 5 anyway. All is dust. That marks the end of the shooting phase. So in summary here, this advancing unit with their melters did miss, mainly due to the -1 to hit, because they advanced. They missed against this Hellbrute, so this is fully functional, this Hellbrute. But as we've seen, this Hellbrute obliterated a combination of overcharged plasma fire and melter fire here. Elimination protocol sanctioned. Absolutely brutal stuff, but all of the Rubrikai remain completely unaffected. Silent and stalwart, they continue to march relentlessly upon Site 4 here. However, the Scarab Occult Terminators completely massacred, mainly due to Sevatar himself, Malachi, unleashing the warp there. You saw how destructive it was, pretty much killing all of them.
That was so epic.
It was, and the remaining just slain with the overcharged plasma here. Meanwhile, rapid fire battle cannon obviously not finding its mark really against this Rubrikai, and did receive a little bit more damage when he destroyed the Hellbrutes just at his foot there with the Storm Spear rocket pods. There is only one thing left to do. There is a potential charge, and that is from the ferryman himself, Let's see if he makes it. Here it comes then. The charge has been declared. The ferryman against the Rubricae. They will get to Overwatch. Their bolters are in rapid fire range. The warp flamer is out of range. Can he get any hits? 6s? No. Okay. Can he make the charge? We worked out he needs an 8-inch charge. We've just measured again. He needs 8 inches from where he is. Only rolls a 6. I think if the ferryman could make the combat against the Rubricae, of course, that would turn the tide dramatically in favour of the Endonian genome for defending the site.
I think, though, I'd have to get a 5 or a 6 to use a command point to get that. I'm going to leave it.
Right, fair enough. Doesn't want. You've only got how many command points left? 4.
4, yeah, that's right.
Right, okay, so he decides to save it because it's a little too risky for the reroll there. Fair enough. That marks the end of the Imperial turn. 3 units of Rubricae remain alive. However, more importantly, 1 Hellbrute is here. And not only does the Warlord of the Thousand Suns have warp time, but so does the second in command. Some dark sorcery could be used, and it could turn the tide of this battle by delivering that Hellbrute where it's needed. Let's see what happens. It's turn 2 for the Thousand Suns coming up next. Movement phase for the Thousand Suns complete. The Rubricae have continued their relentless advance towards Site 4 and its emplacement here, the archaeological dig. Both units, 5-inch move. We can see that the Endonian genome are bracing themselves. Potential warp fire coming up on that gantry now. Meanwhile over here, same thing. 3rd unit of Rubricae looking up at this unit, which has got very few left to its number. The Thousand Suns Warlord, yet to be named to the forces of the Imperium, has gone hunting, looking at the Reaper directly, whilst the second in command here has moved up behind the Thousand Suns Hellbrutes, which has moved directly towards the Reaper. So movement's done, but we do have the psychic phase, of course, that's coming up next. We're opening in the psychic phase here, and it's a significant one. We thought you'd want to see this. The second in command has now revealed that he has got warp time also. Warp time is being cast on the Hellbrutes. 4, 5, 6, 7. That is a success, I believe.
Yes, on a 7, yep.
On a 7. 7 is what he needed, but Sevatar himself, Malachi, can deny.
The warp still reeling. He turns and says, no.
Except...
Yeah, I don't think that's going to do it. That's a 6.
It's a, okay, yeah. So we're counting that as a 4 and a 2. Yeah, it's a 6. He doesn't deny. That means that the Hellbrute will get to move again. That is significant. We'll stay with it here, because I know that some of you would want to see what these characters can do. He will cast now Infernal Gaze. He's not casting regular smite, but Infernal Gaze, and he's casting it on the ferryman. You see the Thousand Suns are determined to bring this war machine down. It's a 6, 7, 8, 9. That is a successful cast. So on 3 dice, he gets to roll now 4s or more, and they will do straight up mortal wounds. 2 5s and a 4. It appears that the psychic powers, the will of Sevatar showing itself here, opening the warp, did not impress the Thousand Suns. And they have claimed vengeance here. Is it 9 wounds left remaining?
9 wounds.
That is the second in command. His powers have been unleashed. Let's see what happens in the rest of the Thousand Suns phase that's coming up next. The Warlord himself. We thought you'd want to see this. He is unleashing the Death Hex against the Knight here to remove his invulnerable saves, the fortitude of his Ion Shield. Doesn't need an 8, but he gets a +1 with his relic. 6. Could use a
command
command.
point.
Yes, he does. And 5, 6, 7.
So close.
But with the +1,
+1!
he does it. The relic does afford him the casting ability. Unfortunately, Sevatar's already attempted to deny, so cannot deny. No invulnerable saves for the ferryman this turn. And one more power that we will reveal to you on camera here this turn before we do the rest of them. Smite from the warlord onto the ferryman. It is a 7, so it's a successful cast. D3 mortal wounds. It's the big 3. That leaves the ferryman with only 6 wounds left. Wow. As we pan across Site 4 here at the end of the psychic phase. Some significant kills. This Rubikai unit, the aspiring sorcerer, actually rolled an 11 on his psychic test. Killed 2 of the scions as a result of that from his smite. Over here, they failed to cast smite. And meanwhile, over here on the left flank, another successful cast killed another rifleman from the Endonian genome. So as the powers die down here, the knights, the ferryman is severely damaged, and the Endonian genome are looking ready to brace themselves against a torrent of fire here from the Thousand Suns in the shooting phase. Will their emplacements here in the cover of these gantries protect them? Will the ferryman survive? We shall see what happens here in this battle. So shooting phase coming up next. This conflict is escalating quickly. Some significant kills, and yet some significant saves here. Barrett's flank is holding firm. All 4 plasma guns still alive. 4 melter guns still alive. Plus the Voxcaster and the sergeant from that unit are still alive as well. Lots of warp fire coming up here onto the gantry. Did kill the remaining members of the squad outside the plasma gunners, as did the bolters, but still 4 plasma riflemen are still alive. Meanwhile over here, warp flamer and warp bolter fire killing 3 more of the number from that melter gun squad, but yet they still stand. Barrett commanding them to remain stationary. This unit currently no fire taken, definitely able to get back into position in the following turn and try and protect the site from the Thousand Suns. Slade, of course, as he looks up here, the men that were standing there with their plasma rifles bathed in warp fire, they fall from the gantries, no doubt of defeat of Slade. He turns to look at those Thousand Suns, the Rubrikai, and he will have his vengeance, I'm sure. But we have one more bit of shooting to do. It is the Hellbrutes. The invulnerable saves afforded by the ion shields, the machine spirits, will not work due to this unnamed warlord, this new terror, taking the ability away from him. Does the Hellbrutes laser cannons punch through the armour of the ferryman? Both miss.
I use command point.
He uses a command point in the shooting phase.
No!
He gets a 2.
The ferryman lives, and he will take you to your death.
Perhaps you will need a coin, my friend. Gripping stuff here on Site 4. It was a brutal battle, and the battle escalated quickly. The dead strewn across the gantries here on the field of these ruins. But now we go into the charge phase. The second in command, the sorcerer, has declared a charge against the Tempestus command squad, the personal squad of Slade, and the Hellbrute has declared a charge against the ferryman. But first, we thought you'd want to watch this. We have some Overwatch from the command squad.
Yep, so hot las. No
hits there.
Plasma.
Some rifles.
I'm not
Plasma.
overcharging this.
Okay, plasma rifleman. 1 hit there against the sorcerer. Can he wound? 3s. It is a wound. Now, this is where another thing is revealed. This sorcerer also has a relic, although it has not yet been named. Well, we know what it is, but you guys don't know what it is yet. He has a 5+ invulnerable save. Sorcerers don't normally have one. Oh. No, he fails it, so he has taken a wound. This unnamed sorcerer of the Thousand Suns has suffered his first wound this battle. Can he make the charge? What is the charge that he needs?
8.
8.
Oh!
He is infuriated by the Genome Command Squad there. Makes his charge. Epic stuff. And now for the Ferryman and the Hellbrute. 2 war machines. One from Prospero, one from Endonia.
Alright, so missile pod. 3
Missile
shots.
pods. No hits.
Melter.
Melter.
No hits. Battle cannon.
Rapid fire battle
You
cannon.
get
7 rounds.
shots.
Ferryman damaged, but still in the fight. No, doesn't secure any hits there.
No.
Doesn't secure any hits. Can he make the charge? Easily on a 10. However, before we move on to the epic fights which are about to happen here around the ruins, the Thousand Suns Rubricae units are spurred on by their sorcerer here. They can make the charge on a rather fitting 9. Favoured of Zeech, but not before they receive some Overwatch.
Cool, so 2 pistols. No. 4 melters. No.
No. There is some rifle. Oh, you've done the pistols, of course.
Yeah.
Okay. Can he make the charge? You'd only really be able to get the one in up the staircase. 6, 7, 8. No, that will be a failed charge, but worth the gambit. That means that we will go straight into the assault phase. Let's see what happens. Here we go. It is War Machine versus War Machine. The Hellbrute is opting to strike first in this fight phase. He's got 4 attacks.
Yes.
He hits on 3s. Hit he? He's rolled a 6, a 1 and a 2.
Yes.
One of the die off the board and another 6.
Oh no. Oh,
2
no.
6s here. But 2 misses. Talk about living dangerously.
Needing 3s again. Strength 12.
3s again. 12 with his Hellbrute Fists. He's got 1 wound. He could...
Command point.
Command! He fails! Which means, I believe it's a flat damage 3.
Yeah.
It means that the ferryman survives with 3 wounds. Now we will resume what has become an epic showdown between these 2 war machines. The sorcerer charged in here. He's knocked the Voxcaster down to the ground. It appears that he's dead. The medic will have to see if he can attend to him. They did attempt to strike the sorcerer back, but him being Astartes and of the Legion of the Thousand Suns, they failed to score any wounds. Meanwhile, the ferryman turns his attention to this new attacker. He uses his feet. 12 attacks. He's only hitting on 5s now. Damage.
Oh dear.
2 hits.
2 hits.
Means
Not
that
great.
the Dreadnought will definitely survive,
Yeah.
even if he wounds twice and fails both saves. It is 2 wounds. It's a -2, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's 5 or up armor saves. He does fail both. It's 2d3 damage. It's 5 points of damage. This Hellbrute's badly damaged by the feet of the ferryman here as it kicks out, smashing into the hull of the Hellbrute. And that marks the end of the Thousand Suns turn. What an incredible turn. The fight for the Site 4 is still very much on. Dead lying everywhere. The Thousand Suns are advancing, but the advance has cost them dearly. And this war machine, the ominous Reaper, the ferryman himself, is still present on the battlefields. Are there any morale checks to make here?
Yes.
There will be for this unit of plasma guns and the unit of melter guns over here.
Yeah. Let me just figure that
We'll
out.
figure that out. Right, so we have done the morale. One of the plasma guns has actually fled here. The banner affording him a little buff, but one has left the battlefields. Meanwhile, the melter gun unit actually passed a morale check. So, that marks the end of Thousand Suns turn 2. It is the Endonian genome, Sevatar himself, the only remnants of the inquisitorial detachment left on this battlefield. It's their turn to retaliate, and of course, let's not forget the ferryman. Let's see what they do. It's turn 2 for the genome coming up next. Genome turn 2. Ready to kick those tires and light those fires. They are on the move. This infantry squad's advanced down off the gantry, making use of the ladder there. And as they jump down, they look forwards. Their nearest target is the Hellbrutes, but are they in range, Mr. Bone? No, they're not.
No. But with some orders, I will be able to maybe shoot at these guys here.
Okay, so
potentially.
potential orders will be flung around here. Meanwhile, the plasma has remained stationary, ready to unleash plasma death down on this Rubrikai unit. The melter, of course, just shuffling up next to them along this gantry here, also able to focus their fire on this Rubrikai unit. The command squad fell back, and the medic successfully revived the Voxcaster there from the command squad, so it's now back at full strength. Pretty epic stuff. You can imagine them falling back and him dragging the Voxcaster off, and then successfully administrating the necessary medicine for the Voxcaster to remain alive. Meanwhile, Sevatar has come from over here, and he is looking at the second in command. And Jonas Barrett, the Tempestor, has leapt down from the gantry. He is also looking at the Sorcerer. It appears that the characters in this campaign are going to face each other here. Slade himself, Hector Slade, the Tempestor Prime of the 13th Regiment of Endonian Genome, has come around the power generator here and is looking at the Rubrikai. He is known to get into melee combat often. Perhaps he will do so again in this campaign. We shall see. We shall see. Meanwhile, the ferryman has left the combat with the Hellbrutes and has brought his guns to bear. Let's see how this pans out. There will be a psychic phase coming up next. Will Sevatar bring something else down? Sevatar will now be casting smites. We decided that it would be worthwhile seeing this. He will be casting it on the second in command, who has already lost a wound. Smite. He's done an 11. What? Very significant. That is a potential D6 mortal wounds. No, Sevatar has proved himself a very capable witch.
Oh, he's such a bad man.
No. Now we can get a denial from, as of yet, the unnamed warlord, who has a +1 with the Eye of Karnak to deny. Can he do it? No, nowhere near. Sevatar once again rips open a gaping hole in the warp. Can he finish off the sorcerer, who's already lost 1 wound?
Yes!
How many wounds did the sorcerer have? 4? So he's only got 3 left.
No, but
he falls.
Yes!
He falls.
Yeah.
We don't know if he's killed, but we will need to roll on the campaign experience. The injury table at the end of this. All of those rules are available on www.tabletoptactics.tv. But that is significant. The first character drops here in the first mission in this conflict at Site 4. That's the psychic phase done. It's the shooting phase next. We're in the shooting phase here on CM9. The plasma, the smoke from the plasma guns still trailing off of it as they overcharged, but with the take aim order pretty much killed all of the Marines in conjunction with the melter gun fire up here. This efficient Endonian Genome Regiment, the 13th Regiment here, obliterating all of the Rubrikai bar the aspiring sorcerer. The command squad, having fallen back, didn't fire, and they've got this unit marching ominously on them. Now we have the ferryman. The ferryman himself. This unit out of range currently, and they had to advance to get down there anyway. What is the ferryman firing at?
Okay, so it's a bit risky what I'm going to do here. It's a bit risky, but if this pays off, the Endonians are in a very, very strong position.
Okay.
So I am hitting on 5s, but I'm going to put the missile pod and the melter into the dreadnought, or the Hellbrute rather.
Yes.
And then the battle cannon into the Marines.
To the Rubricae. Okay.
Okay, so we'll start with the missile pod.
Okay.
So 5s and
It is
6s.
5s to hit. It's very damaged, the ferryman. One hit. Okay. One hit.
One hit.
It is 3s to wounds. He does get a wound.
So it's -2.
So a save of 5 or more, otherwise D6 damage can go through here.
Oh, I have to.
Going to command point
command
it.
point,
It's
yeah.
understandable. No, he gets a 3. This could fell the Hellbrute. It doesn't though. That would leave him with 1 wound.
No, I'm going to
Oh, the tension.
no, I'm
here.
going to command point that.
He command points it. How many does that leave you with, Bo?
3, I think, maybe 2.
2.
3 or 2. We'll say 2.
Okay.
Hey-ya!
He's got the 6. The Hellbrute is destroyed. The ferryman has taken yet another for the Endonian genome tally. But does he blow up?
Nope.
No, he doesn't. Now the rapid fire battle cannon of the ferryman into the Rubricae. 5, 6, 7, 8 shots this time. Hitting on 5s. 2 hits. 2 of those shells find mark. 2 wounds. 2 saves of 5 or more. 1 is a success, 1 is a fail, and it's D3 damage. Not that that matters. One of the Rubricae is blasted apart, and his dust within the animated armour is blown to the wind. So what other shooting is there for you this turn? That is it.
Yeah.
Both forces thin on the ground, but now the Thousand Suns, it seems, have lost some momentum. Their 3 war machines destroyed, burnt, broken here amongst the ruins. The ferryman still holding the morale of the genome together. It will be the charge phase coming up next. We're in the charge phase. Jonas Barrett, Tempestor of the 13th, charges this aspiring sorcerer. They will get to... what is the charge that you need?
7.
Okay, 7. So there will be some Overwatch, but let's see if you can make the charge anyway. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Barrett would make it into combat with this aspiring sorcerer. I believe we have a bolt pistol here to hit. No, it fails. And Barrett does make combat. He's got the regimental knife of the Reapers.
The Reaper Blade.
Yep, the Reaper Blade, it's known as, which is effectively an Astra Militarum big knife weapon. Except it's got an additional minus. It's -2 instead of -1, and it is a damage 2 weapon as well. So there's the first charge. Succeeded. The ferryman now, as I understand it, wishes to charge the Rubricae specifically, yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, part of me goes, should I put Slade in first? But I prefer him not to die in Warp Flame.
Right. So, now there will be auto hits here from the warp. This could be dangerous.
I know, it's very dangerous.
Can the Rubricae bring down the ferryman as he charges in?
Yes, they can.
D6 hits.
Flame.
It is 6 hits. This is it strength 4?
I think it's strength 3. Let me double check though.
Okay, let's double check. It is indeed strength 4. Oh wow. It's a -2 save, it's 6s to wounds. He's got 2 6s. That would leave the ferryman on 1 wound unless he can make 2 5+ saves. Extraordinary stuff, he makes 1.
Command point.
He's going to use that. Is that your... That would leave you with 1 left.
No, I might need it.
He keeps it. He keeps it.
He's on 2 left.
He's got 1 wound left. 2 wounds left.
2 wounds left.
Because you did make 1 save.
Yeah.
Now we have the rapid fire bolters.
I am rubbing my belly.
2, 4, 6, 8 shots here. Hitting on 6s. Extraordinary stuff. He's got another hit. We need a 6 again to press the issue. It is a 4. He has failed to secure the additional wounds.
Right, now I have to
Can the ferryman make the charge?
Which is why I saved
after
the
all of
command
that.
point.
Yes. Can he make the chart?
Yeah.
4, 5, 6 will make it. That is a success.
Bosh.
We then have now Hector Slade, the Tempestor Prime, underneath the gantry there. Can he make it into the Rubricae?
Oh,
On a
yes!
double 6. He is absolutely seeking vengeance. For your viewing pleasure, we will record the entirety of the assault phase here. There are too many characters' lives at stake here in mission 1 of Ghostmaker. So, first of all, Jonas Barrett, the Tempestor, attacks the aspiring sorcerer with his regimental blade, the Reaper. So this is a custom
So hitting on 3s.
relic for the campaign, 2 hits.
Okay. Now, he's still strength user, so what's his...
Toughness is 4, so you will need
75.
5s to wound. That's the tricky part.
Oh,
Double 6
Oh,
from
is
Jonas
it?
Barrett.
of course it was double 6.
Incredible. Now
Right.
it's a -2,
-2, and then they're
and
damage.
it's damage 2. He needs 5s and 6s to save here, folks. Fails. So the sorcerer is slain by Barrett. As the blades, the regimental blade of the Endonian genome is driven through the eye socket and kills him before he strikes. Moving over here now, we have another significant alteration to the flow of this combat. The Thousand Sons Warlord has done a heroic intervention. He has joined the fray against the knights. Meanwhile, however, the knight charging the Rubricae is attacking the Rubricae. Here we go. Ferryman uses his Titanic feet.
So 5s.
He's got 3, 4 hits there.
Very nice.
It is still strength 8, so it is 2s to wounds. He's got 3 wounds. The Rubricae do get 5+ invulnerable saves, and as they're near their lords, they reroll 1s. Triple 6. Incredible stuff here from the personal unit of this Thousand Sons Exalted Sorcerer. Slade, Hector Slade of the Endonian genome now attacks the Rubricae.
Yeah. Now he's with Tempestus Prime.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. But with his relic
Right.
Power Fist,
He does
he
have...
hits on 3s.
That's right, it's a mastercrafted power fists. He does hit on 3s. There's no -1 there. He hits twice. His strength is 6, I believe, with the power fist, so it is 3s to wounds. He does get 2 wounds. Slade, can he bring a Rubricae down? 1 saves, 1 fails. He does pull one of the Rubricae down, smashing open the armour with the fist. Excellent stuff. But now it is the Thousand Sons' turn to retaliate. We're opening up here against Slade. 3 Rubricae and the aspiring sorcerer. So first of all, the Rubricae against Slade.
3s.
All 3 hits. This unit has proved themselves particularly resilient.
3s again.
It's 1 wound. 1 wound against Slade.
No minus, right?
No minus.
Fine.
He makes his save, no problem. We then have the aspiring sorcerer against the Tempestor Prime.
3s.
2 hits. He's got his 4 stave here.
What's the toughness of him?
3.
3.
Less than 3. So these are 2s. Wounding on
Yep.
2s. Strength 6.
2 wounds and the minus.
Minus is 1.
Okay, Slade
5s
is in
and
trouble
6s.
here. 5s and 6s. No, he's in trouble because I believe these are 2d3 damage now. Because 2 have gone through. Slade could be felled. A 1 and a 3 for 4 3 wounds in total. Slade still stands. Wow. It leaves just the Exalted Sorcerer against the Ferryman. Can the Ferryman be brought down?
No.
Slade with 1 wound left.
And the knight with 1 wound left.
And the knight with 1 wound
2
left.
wounds.
2 wounds left.
2 wounds? Oh,
Yeah.
sorry.
To hit the Ferryman.
2s.
2s. All 4 hits.
Yes. Now, I'm going to need 4s. What's
His
his?
strength. Well, he's toughness 8, so you'll need 5s.
5s.
5s to wounds. He's got 2 wounds. This could be potent. I have to remind you as well that Death Hex is still on the Ferryman. He will have no invulnerable save. Not that he would get that in combat anyway. But what is the minus on this save? Is it -1?
It is -1.
That means that you'll have to rely on your armour here.
4s.
4s or more. On 2 dice. Mr.
What
Barney.
damage does it do? What damage does it do?
D3. So you need to save both to guarantee survival. He's failed 1.
Command point. I haven't used one this phase, remember?
That means that you have no command points left.
That's completely fine.
Okay. This is his last command point to protect the Ferryman. The final.
Oh, it's intense.
Can you make it? No, he can't. This Exalted Sorcerer of Zeech
Come
will
on!
perhaps have his due. D3 damage.
For the Dark Gods!
The Ferryman survives.
No!
We're in turn 3 for the Thousand Suns. While thin on the ground, they are determined. The Exalted Sorcerer, their warlord, is rallying, it appears, the lines here. And the Thousand Suns, just by the power generator here underneath the gantries, have fallen back from Slade and from the Ferryman. He too has fallen back. Meanwhile, over here on their left flank, almost fresh unit of Thousand Suns have moved towards the edge of the gantries here. Their weapons ready to let rip against potentially the plasma gunners up here or the command squad down there. There will be a psychic phase, and it could be significant. It is critical that that war machine is stopped for the Thousand Suns. Will they be able to bring it down? Let's find out. The aspiring sorcerer of the Thousand Suns here turns his master before him. He looks up at the Ferryman and casts Smite. Flickering tendrils of power leap across onto the hull of this Imperial Knight. It is an 8. It is a successful cast. That is significant because it is a single mortal wound, and that leaves him on 0. Unless
I deny.
he denies
So I need a
with
9.
Sevatar Malachi.
I need a 9, or I can keep my deny to try and protect myself.
That's correct.
Which I think, in this case, I'm going to do. And I'm going to hope that this bad boy explodes and takes everyone with them. That's how the Reapers do it.
Okay.
Self-destruct protocols.
All of a 6. The Ferryman will go down in a blaze of glory. It's a 5. Instead, he does not explode, and he remains static there. The system's power down. We do not know if we will see this knight again in this campaign. But there he is. He has carved quite the gore fest through the Thousand Suns army, and he has finally come to an end. Next we have the Warlord himself. Let's see what he does. Now we have the Warlord. Wishes to cast Warp Time on himself. Here we go. Does successfully cast it. Do we see a denial from Sevatar? No. Okay. So he's using his move, I see, to move him closer to Sevatar so that he is nearer than Slade. It appears that this unnamed Thousand Sons warlord wishes to have the head of the Inquisitor that has caused so much destruction amongst his army. Okay, Smite next. Oh, it goes off on a 7 + 1 for the Eye of Karnak.
This I will deny.
Okay, so you need a 9.
Easy.
No, he doesn't do it, and he's not got no command points left. This is D3 mortal wounds. It's only 1. Sevatar stands. Oh no. Wow, what a turn. Another significant incident just happened after Sevatar survived. Would you believe it? The aspiring sorcerer up here cast an 11 and he killed 3 of the Meltagun squads. They are now dangerously low and could be susceptible to a morale issue at the end of this turn. Now, Sevatar still stands. The ferryman is currently destroyed. It is the shooting phase coming up next. There is a significant round of fire that I think could be game-changing for the Thousand Sons. I believe the Exalted Sorcerer will be firing at Sevatar because he is slightly closer than the command squad. Let's see what happens. So, due to this shooting phase being so significant and being relatively short, we will show you all of this on camera. The Rubricae are opening up first. They're rapid firing with their bolters into the plasma gunners, the riflemen up here. And then the Warp Flamer is firing at the command squad there. So, if the Thousand Sons have the favour of Zinch, they could see this entirety of the flank here on Site 4 crumble. Let's do this. Rolling to hit. Okay, it's about our average so far, I think. So 5 hits. It is 3s to wounds. Right, but only got 3 wounds. However, there are only 3 plasma gunners left. They have got the cover afforded by the gantry, but it is still -2. Can they save? Only 1. That leaves 1 left alive, but again susceptible to morale there. And now the Warp Flamer against the command squad. It's 4 hits. 3s. Oh, it's all 4 wounded. And these no cover save here. -2, so 6s to save. No, the command squad's bathed in warp fire. And they are incinerated. It does appear that the left flank here for the Endonian genome is beginning to crumble. Finally, we have the Exalted Sorcerer himself. He levels his bolt pistol. Does he have Inferno bolts?
He does.
He levels it at... Oh, Malachi.
So it's a -1 to hit
Right.
with his relic.
Now, Malachi has another campaign item. It is known as the Night Field. It is a stolen piece of Drakari technology. It affords Sevatar a -1 to hit, both in combat and shooting. But you normally hit on 2s. Can he hit with the bolt pistol? He hits easily. Oh dear.
It's horrid.
It's
It's absolutely
it's
horrid.
3s to wound, I believe, unless the Inquisitor is toughness 4. Would you like to check that now?
Yes.
Let's check this off camera. He is toughness 3. Sevatar, the unnamed Exalted Sorcerer. 3s to wound. He's pressed the issue here. Can he fell this Inquisitor? We won't know if he's dead until we roll on the campaign experience and injury table at the end of this game, but he could drop Sevatar here. He's got the 1 wound remaining, and it is a -2 to his save. He needs a 6, and followed by another 6 with Tenacious Survivor.
Oh god!
That's a board.
Oh god!
The nerves, obviously, apparent. It's a 2. Tenacious survivor. Sevatar has survived many times before, but perhaps not in a situation quite as dangerous.
Oh,
Sevatar stands. On that note, we did remember that we forgot to do the tenacious survivor for the mortal wounds taken by the smite. So let's see if Sevatar is in fact on 2 wounds rather than the 1 now. Thought we'd show you that on camera here because it does make a difference. No, he's not. Okay. He is on the 1 wound. Sevatar still stands. Both the warlords here are face off in the middle of the ruins. It is, of course, as it should be and as it was on CM9. Let's see what happens next. That marks the end of the turn. We just did the morale phase off camera. They rolled a 1 and a 1. Both stand firm there, no doubt. It is Jonas Barrett commanding that they stay. Hold fast there on the gantry. They must hold this site by inquisitorial decree. That leaves the Tempestus with 1 full squad. Slade himself, Barrett, and 2 remnant squads left on the board, while there are 2 squads of Rubricae and the unnamed warlords. Let's see what happens as we go into the Endonian Genome turn 3. That's coming up next.
Heretic! In the name of the Golden Throne, the Inquisition and the High Council of Terror, you have been judged and found wanting for crimes against the holy Imperium of man. Surrender your weapons, repent before me, and I will make it quick.
Yes, I see you have some potential, Inquisitor. What a pity you hold yourself back with your worthless devotion to the false Emperor. I am Uraeus Karnak. I am the Eye of Sage. I am the Prophet of Change and the Tide of Dust. But you pitiful creature, you will know me at your reckoning.
Turn 3 here on CM9. This unit thought about advancing, decided against it, but they've moved forwards. They're not quite in rapid fire range with everything, are they?
No, but they're in range.
But they are in range. 3 melters here have stayed up on the gantry. They can see down to the Rubricae below them. And this lone plasma gunner has gotten down. Jonas Barrett, the Tempestor, has tried to sneak up around here to the unit here. Sevatar Malachi, as we've now seen, has met the Thousand Sons warlords, Uraeus Karnak. A very dangerous adversary. We will see what happens in that showdown, no doubt, very, very shortly. In fact, it is the psychic phase coming up next. Here we go. It's the psychic phase.
Smite.
Smite is the power being cast here. Hi, Sevatar.
3 in a row. Bosh. Oh.
It's a 7. This can be denied. This can be denied with a +1 with the Eye of Karnak. Only gets a 5. He fails to deny Sevatar. His will is iron, clearly. D3 mortal wounds. It's the big 3. However, he also has the tenacious survivor warlord traits. So on 6s, he can ignore those wounds. But he doesn't. It's 3 wounds down.
Wow.
Both warlords badly wounded, but both still standing. As the dust begins to settle here at the end of the shooting phase, the Endonian Genome with disciplined fire, take aim orders being issued. Combination of plasma and melter gun fire killed 3 of the Rubricae over here. 2 are left standing with the aspiring sorcerer. Likewise over here, the infantry managed to gun down another 2 Rubricae It leaves just one left alive with the aspiring sorcerer, and Slade stalking them, his power fist getting ready to charge and destroy another of the Rubricae. That is the shooting done. It leaves it to the charge phase next. Will there be any charges this turn?
Oh yes.
Let's do this live for you on camera here.
Here we go.
Sevatar will charge.
Kill him on the Overwatch. Go on, Beard.
Karnak, who overwatches with his bolt pistol. Oh, he misses.
Yeah.
The charge is successful. We will be seeing a Warlord showdown here on Site 4. Yes. Incredible. Jonas Barrett. Will he make the charge against the Rubricae? Now he will receive Overwatch, including that of a Warp Flamer. D6 automatic hits.
Gonna hurt.
It is 3 automatic hits, wounding on 3s. All 3 wound at -2, meaning only 6s save. Barrett's lost 3 wounds.
Doesn't matter.
We've still got rapid fire bolter and a bolt pistol left as well. And the bolt pistol. No, okay. Can he make the charge? He's only got 1 wound left.
6 will do it.
Will do it. Does it?
Oh yes.
It does. Just. Okay. But on 1 wound. And Slade, finally. Will Slade charge?
Oh, it's kind of madness, but he's going to get shot to death next turn if he doesn't anyway, so he's going to charge.
Slade will attempt to weather. He's only got the 1 wound left. It's D6 warp. Only one. Only 1 automatic hits, which fails to wound.
Oh my god!
Yes!
Incredible stuff. We just did the bolt pistol off camera there. He did roll a 2. So Slade survives. He is a veteran, of course, of the Endonian Genome, the 13th Regiment Reapers, and has made it into combat against this aspiring sorcerer that destroyed the knight just moments ago.
Okay,
Doing
so
his attacks first
3 attacks.
in the fight phase.
Hitting on 3s. Okay, 2.
He hits 2.
3's needed. 1.
He wounds once on a 3 there. Assuming this hit's taken on the Rubricae,
Yep.
it is a 5+ invulnerable, which he does make.
What a shame.
Slade, whilst he's a tough veteran, did not quite get the kill he wanted there.
No.
So he is, unfortunately, still at risk. Okay, we'll move over to Jonas Barrett here on the left flank against these Rubricae.
So 3 attacks. 2 hits.
He hits twice with his blades.
Right. No,
Regimental blades, the Reaper blade.
5s and
It is
6s.
5s to wounds. He's got 1.
He's got
2. 2 wounds against the Rubricae here. They get to save. They do save 1 for certain. The other die, what are we counting that as?
I think it was a miss because it wasn't.
It was a
about
got
to
die.
roll
Well,
down.
yeah, it was, okay, so just re-roll it, Mr. Beard. Right, that is a fail, and it is damage 2, not that it matters. So 1 of the Rubricae is cut down, so the last bolter there, still got a Warp Flamer. So Jonas will have to take some attacks back. We then move on over here to Sevatar versus Uraeus. This is huge, people. This is it. The showdown we've been waiting for. Sevatar versus Uraeus. Will he bring down Uraeus before he strikes?
Yes.
He's got 4 attacks, Sevatar. He does have a power fist. He does have the -1 to hits.
It won't matter.
He
It
hits
didn't matter.
3 times. The strength is 6. He wounds on 3s. He wounds once. Oh, no. He wounds once. The invulnerable save of an exalted sorcerer is 5.
No!
The power of the dark gods compels you, sir. We will now go back to the Thousand Suns and their attacks back. Can they take out the command structure of the Endonian Genome and the Inquisition in 1 turn? It's looking now like it's possible. Aspiring Sorcerer against Tempestor Prime Hector Slades. To hit. 1 hit. to wound on 2s. It's all he needs. Being said and rolls a 1 again. The aspiring sorcerer, his attacks deflected by Slade.
Because Slade is a bad man.
1. Rubrikai misses.
Unbelievable.
Fails to drop Slade. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff.
Slade Reapers!
We now have over here against Jonas Barrett, the aspiring sorcerer. He needs these kills here. He shouldn't be whiffing these. He's got another hit on 2s. He could potentially kill him. He's got a 6. He will now need, with a -1, a 5 or more to save. Otherwise, he is dropped at the staff of the aspiring sorcerer. He's on a 4. No! Jonas Barrett is dropped. No! He will have to roll on the injury table. That means potential death for this character in this campaign.
But Barrett is so bad.
Oh no. Oh no. Finally, it is Uraeus. Karnak. The Eye of Karnak. The mouth of Tzeentch. Can he bring down Sevatar? He hits. Now, he was hitting with a -1 there because of the Night Field of Sevatar, but the 3s will still count. So that is a hit 3 times. He does wound on 2s. He's got 2 wounds. He has no invulnerable save, so he needs 2 5s and 6s for his armour. I believe he has a 4+ armour save.
Yeah.
Okay. Needs double 5 and 6 to guarantee survival.
You've done it a few times.
It was close. With no command points, it's now D3 damage.
Well, he's got 1 damage anyway.
No, but he's got Tenacious Survivor.
Oh, that's true.
2 wounds on Sevatar. He needs a double 6 to stand before the Ancient Might of Prospero here. Tzeentch incarnate. The roll of a double 6, Sevatar will stand. No, he doesn't. He falls. There is no Slay the Warlord in this mission. It is only about the claiming of this ruin. But that is a significant blow for the Endonian genome. He will have to roll on the injury table at the end of this game. That marks the end of the turn. There's no morale to be done, which he can't fail, which he can't... yes, because you only killed 2 here, as I recall. 3?
Yeah, because it was a full squad. I killed 4.
So 6, and I believe the sorcerer's leadership, I think is 9.
It was a squad
but
of 5 because 1 was killed previously.
Well, let's roll it on the roll of a 6 then. He potentially could lose 1. But I believe he's rolled a 4, so he's definitely passed. He's definitely passed. And this Thousand Suns unit's lost 2. So they can't fail. Okay. That is the end of the turn. It is Thousand Suns turn 4 next. It is about who claims the ruins. Remember, most models or objectives secured within 6 inches of the centre of these ruins wins this game. Nothing else matters. It is going to go down on a knife edge by the looks of it. Let's see what happens, folks. Turn 4 for the Thousand Suns. The game on a knife edge. Uraeus Karnak has moved towards the last full strength unit of the Endonian genome, still spurred on by their surviving commander, the Tempestor Prime, Hector Slade. This unit of Thousand Suns of Rubrikai have fallen back. This unit has moved forward closer towards the objective. Sevatar laying limp there. We don't know if he's dead. We'll find out at the end. He's dead. 3 melter guns here on the gantry. 1 plasma gunner. It is all to play for. We're going straight into the psychic phase. This is a turn 4 summary here for the Thousand Suns. Who is casting what first?
Right. Sorcerer, smite into Hector.
Sorcerer into Hector. Here we go. 6 is a success. He cannot deny. It is a single mortal wound. Slade drops. Significant.
He is... yeah, he's doing very well.
He's killed the knight. He's taken out significant centerpieces in the Endonian genome line.
I wonder if Zinch is watching.
We now have Karnak himself. What is he casting?
He's going to cast Smite.
Okay. Smite.
No,
A 1 and a 3 is a 4 plus 1 with the Eye of Karnak is a success to make it 5. So it is just a straight D3. And 2 mortal wounds, 2 of the Endonian genome there slain. So he unleashes Dark Zinch energy. The Aspiring Sorcerer here casting Smite now. 5 and a 1, that makes it another successful cast, a single mortal wounds. The Melter Guns, I believe, would be slightly closer, or so one of those will be slain. That's the psychic phase done. We'll let him do his shooting phase, and then we'll get back to you. The battlefield now. The cries, screams, and gunfire is starting to go silent as the Endonian genome begin to fall apart. The plasma gunner here killed by a bolt pistol from the Aspiring Sorcerer. The warp flame are coming up here, burning one of the melter guns, or 2 of the melter guns I should say, from the gantry, and they fall screaming in flames. And of course Karnak guns down another with his bolt pistol. It's now the charge phase next. There's very little left to defend the ruins here. Can the Overwatch bring Karnak down? That is the question. Good. There are 4 melter guns in this unit. 1 hotshot lad's rifle.
Do that first.
Okay. One of the melter guns hits.
No, that was
those are rifles, sorry, of course.
Yeah. I wish one of the melter guns.
Yes, alright, it's a wound. It's a failed wound. Would have been a failed wound even if it was a melter. Yeah. Okay, now the melter. No, okay. Karnak will make the charge successfully. And we will go straight into the assault phase, the fight phase. Karnak, 4 attacks. He hits 3 times. He wounds on 2s. It is 3 wounds. It is 5s and 6s for the Tempestus armor to protect them. Does save 1 of them, but 2 of them are smashed down by the force stave. He will get to hit back.
Yeah, so I've got 1, 2, 3. I've got 6 attacks because of chainsword.
Okay, 6 attacks now. Karnak is on 2 wounds remaining.
Will hit.
I think they hit on 4s in combat, but 3s in ballistic skills.
I see.
So 3 hits. No wounds. That is significant. It will now be the morale phase. Will their morale hold? So in total they lost how many of their number this
5.
turn? 5. So leadership is 7 with the sergeant. Here we go. They do pass.
Oh, another one.
He's consistently rolled the 1s with the morale. Excellent work there. And then up here, the melter gun just lost 1, so he can only fail on the roll of a 6. He does pass. The Tempestus are still in this fight. Just. It should be noted, however, they do have the last turn, but realistically, will they be able to survive the warp fire that the 2 remaining Rubricae have on the board? Probably not. This is a turn 4 summary for the Endonian genome. This unit fell back from Karnak. This lone melter gun advanced. They are doing everything they can to protect their mission objective. They've moved towards the centre of the relic. We have 1 melter gun. He did advance, trying to fire back here at the Rubricae. The -1 to hit. He does miss. That marks the end of the turn, and it brings it to the final turn, turn 5 for the Thousand Suns, coming up next. We're now in turn 5 for the Thousand Suns. He's moved everything towards the centre of this ruin. They've come to claim it for whatever reasons, we don't know yet, but they are here in force to do so. We're in the psychic phase. Warp time is about to be cast on this unit of Rubricae. Failed, because it is an 8, is that correct?
Warp time, is an 8 actually.
Okay, so even with the +1, it doesn't quite make it,
okay.
So It's now straight into the shoot. Oh, smite rather.
Yep.
Goes off. Karnek does it on an 11.
Go on then.
It's D6 mortal wounds. It's 6. He destroys the unit by himself. His final and significant stamp here on the battle. It's just this aspiring sorcerer to cast smite. And that is it. The Endonian genome scattered, battered, and destroyed here on Site 4. Sevatar lying limp. What will happen next? We must roll on the campaign experience table and then see what happens. So here it is that we roll on the campaign experience table for Karnek himself. He did fulfill one of the mission parameters for rolling on the campaign experience table, and that is casting a psychic power every turn and of course surviving. So it's a D6 table. Again, this is available on tabletoptactics.tv. It's a free data sheet. Rolling the D6. He's got a 2. So on the table, that is Dark Constitution. Roll a further D6. 5. So the warp bolsters your resilience to injury. On a 4 to 6, you gain +1 wound. So Karnek now, for the rest of the campaign, will have +1 wound. But I believe putting him on 6 wounds, which is pretty impressive. We must now roll, although his name wasn't revealed in this first mission. I will tell you now, his name is Sutek Amon. We must roll for the second in command. The injury table, potentially all is dust. Let's find out. So it's a D66. So the first roll is the 10s.
Oh dear.
It's a 1.
That's not good.
That is
That's
one
not
of the
good.
worst results. If he follows that up with another 1 or a 2, all is indeed dust.
Oh dear.
It's a 2, all is dust. He is slain
Wow.
and never seen in the campaign again. We are now on to the second of the injury tables for the Astra Militarum here. Jonas Barrett, he did fall, unfortunately, not before giving off a valiant fight against 1,000 Suns, but we've already seen a second in command be slain in the very first mission here. Will Jonas fall to the same fate? Let's find out. So it is a D66 table, so the first result is the 10s. It's a 6. The second, so 60. 4. A 64 on the table means spurred to glory. Arising from your wounds with indignant fury, you take to the head of your army, eager to destroy the cowardly foes of the Imperium. The character makes a full recovery and may otherwise be used in the next game. Additionally, for the next game, all friendly units within 12 inches can +1 inch when moving or advancing.
Oh, very cool.
So Jonas is defiant. Next, we must roll for Sevatar Malachi. Was he actually slain by Karnek, or will he survive? D66 table here. 50. And what's the second roll? 2. 52. Authoritarian command. Seems appropriate, doesn't it? There is no time to fall in the line of duty, and you will teach this to your men the hard way if necessary. The character gains the voice of command ability, or if they already have this, may issue 1 additional order than normal. However, all friendly units within 6 inches of the character suffer a -1 leadership. At the end of each subsequent game, you may keep this effect, or decide that your honour has been reclaimed, causing the effect to end. Finally, we have Tempestor Prime Hector Slade himself. Hero of the 13th Reapers, currently under his command. Will he survive? It's a 3.
And it knocked him over as well.
Knocked him over. 3, so 30 and 4. 34 on our campaign table gives field surgery. The medics have patched you up with all their skill, but some of your injuries will take longer to heal. Roll a further d6. 6. So on that result, he is -1 to any hit rolls. This effect lasts for the duration of the next game, but he is still alive. And so it is that we've now completed the roles on our campaign tables for these 4 characters who stand before us. They all survive, for better or for worse, in the Ghostmaker campaign going forward. But just outside of planet CM9, we look to the stars. Just outside, on the edge of the Eye of Terror itself, an alien intelligence, listening, waiting, and now awoken.
It is as I have foreseen. A storm has come to Eldrenesh, and change comes with it.
Give but a word, Farseer, and I will see it done.
Prepare the war host. Cain's call must be answered. In blood.
Your will is my command. We go to war.